How many of you are currently doing something that used to work but is no longer working? Or how many of you are consistently trying to do something that has proven itself that is just not going to work because you keep receiving the same outcome, right? You keep seeing that you're not getting these results that you working over hard, beating yourself up, right? Because you just think that if I do this or if I do that, and you're trying all these different things, but yet nothing is still working. Could it be that you are not operating in your God-given purpose? See, because God has already established a plan and a purpose for each individual on this earth. He says in Jeremiah 1, "For I know the plans that I have for you." So God knows the plan. The issue is we are not operating in God's original plan because we are operating in our own passions and desires. See, because you can have a talent or a skill to do something that you're good at. You can, right, develop a certain skill that you become great at. But is that your purpose? Is that what you're called to do to make an impact on this earth? Because a lot of the times people are just operating in things, right, that are just a means to provide for the family. But God's purposes for our lives is just not for those around us, but it's for those who are for in the kingdom of God. So it's a bigger, higher calling and purpose that we are called into, that we have to choose to step into. God's plan is always going to work. There is not ever going to be, when it comes to the purposes of God, this endless striving that is exhausting to the point that you get no sleep, that you have no peace, that you constantly are doing every single thing in your own strength. No, because see, in the purposes of God, things divinely happen, like connections and resources, and the phrase that they say, God's will, God's bill. So sometimes when God calls you to do something, it does not matter what your money looks like. It doesn't matter, who you do not know. If God calls you to it, God will see you through it. God is going to provide every single thing that He calls for us to do on this earth. You have to begin to get curious and begin to desire more beyond just a simple skill and talent. Because anything that God calls us to do, we are not going to be able to do by ourselves. It is not even going to always come from an earthly means. Like some things, or you're not even gonna know how, because God does things supernaturally. Peter was a fisherman before God chose him to follow him, because He didn't just call him, He chose him specifically, right? He was great at being a fisherman. In him being a fisherman, he was providing for his family. But this one particular night, he and his brother were fishing all night, something that they were good at, right? That they were doing that was not working. Like he knew, I'm sure Peter had all these thoughts, like I've done this a million times. I fish in the, I know that the fish bite here, but yet we aren't catching nothing. And they stayed out all night toiling until the morning time. When they were about to call it quits, Jesus popped up on the scene, and He told Peter to go deeper and to drop his net on a certain specific side of the boat. And at first, you can imagine Peter's hesitation, because he was like, wait a minute, who are you, first of all, to tell me what to do that I already know how to do? But nevertheless, Peter listened to it anyway and did what Jesus instructed him to do. And in doing so, he caught a multitude of fish. Now that can preach by itself, but that's not what we're here for in today's video. See, because some of you aren't searching deep enough. You are just continuously being on the surface level and wanting to do what it is that you want to do, that you just feel like, I know I can do this, right? I know that this has been working for me. Or I know that if I just learn this, I know I can get good at it. I know that it can be better if I just tweak this and I do this, and all of these things that you keep telling yourself, that you keep thinking it's gonna work, but it's not, because it's the reason why. And that reason is, that's not your purpose. That thing that you're toiling at is not going to give you the result that you're looking for. That thing that you're toiling at is not going to give you the impact that you think that you're going to have. It's only when you align yourself with God's plan for your life is whenever you're going to get that impact, not only for your family, but for the kingdom. See, because the thing that Peter did was which was providing for his family. Now he was going to have an impact on the kingdom, on many across the world. Because the thing that we do, that we just want to be to a certain degree selfish, and that I just want to provide for my family. I just want to provide for those around me. But what if God is saying, no, what you're going to do is going to provide for many in your city, many in your state, many in the nations. Some of you aren't thinking big enough. Some of you are thinking too small, or you're feeling like you're not able, or I'm not qualified, or I don't have. But again, it's not about us. It's about God. Because for whatever it is that we're called to do, God is going to equip us to do it. The resources that you don't have, God has. The money that you don't have, God has. The people that you don't know, God is going to send them. But if you stay on the surface level, if you keep your boat on the shallow end of the shore and never go out in the deep, never go higher, you're never going to reach your full potential. You're never going to know what it truly is that God has for you to do, that God has chosen you specifically, because everybody has a specific purpose. There is something that you are called and chosen to do that can't nobody else do like you. That's why there should never be competition. That's why there should never be comparison. Because no matter if we are all doing the same thing, there is still a unique way that you were supposed to do it. There is still a specific group of people that is going to be drawn to you. So whatever it is that you do in the flesh, whatever it is that you are doing in your own strength, whatever it is that you are trying to do that is not working, ask God, what is the plan that you have for me? And begin to step into that and relinquish and let go of what you want to do. Because in order for Peter to step into his kingdom position, right, he had to stop being a fisherman and become a fisher of men. Elevation. He had to let go of that thing that he knew was security, to go into the unknown, to find a new level of security that would, yes, benefit his family, but also where he would be a blessing to so many more. And it was what he could have never imagined. So yes, it is time for a lot of people to quit what no longer is working and get into position, into the purpose that God has planned for you, already established in heaven. And trust and know that whatever God has called you to, He has already qualified and equipped you to do.